Hey, folks, and welcome to another installment of the Mood Room. This is the Uncle John's Cabin Edition. Whenever White America joins us, they like to change things up, so I just go along with it.
You've been acquired.
I'm joined in the studio today by studio, I always tell you that it's my living room, but I like to say studio. It makes me feel kind of like I'm like official or something like that. But I'm joined by White America. Say hello, White America.
You've been acquired. Thank you very much.
Uncle Sam, say hi.
Hoorah.
The lovely Leslie joins us.
Hoorah.
Hoorah! What do you sound like? Military? Is like they do hoorah? Nas guys, hit us with it.
Hi.
Hi.
Go Navy.
Go Navy. I love it.
Faggots.
The Navy's maggots. So I just want to congratulate our buddy Sam here. Uncle Sam, he's getting married. He's had a date, and I'm excited to go to the wedding. Congratulations, Sam.
Thank you.
That's
thank you.
awesome.
Congratulations.
So we're just going to jump right in, and luckily I have my stuff here because I can't see that far away even in the big room. So the first topic here, you guys, have you heard about the Alabama law where they want to set a law where you're going to castrate child rapists?
Yep.
Have you guys heard about that?
Yep.
What do you guys think
Wow.
about that? I personally am all for it. Well, let me get your guys' opinion about it, and then I'll say how I feel about it.
Castrating child
Castrating child
rapists.
Yes.
That's perfectly fine.
You know, more power to them. Rock and roll.
Any thoughts on it?
I mean, my thought on it is if you date back into the older times and the ancient peoples, that was very common practice. That's how your eunuchs happened. That's how a lot of those peoples came about, was because they were sexual offenders and they got castrated for it. So, I mean, hey, if we want to go back to that way, I mean, it's going to make you think twice about doing something.
I never thought of that, actually. That's where those came from. I'm like, oh, are they born like that? What do you think, Leslie?
No remorse.
I love it. Now let's go.
Well, the thing is, I don't really trust the justice system enough for me to really. I mean, what if someone
All right, let's say
wasn't actually
let's say
child?
it's black and white, caught red-handed. Let's do that.
Caught red-handed. Okay. Oh.
Well, I mean, let's say you get convicted because you're talking about your punishment. Well, I'm saying, hey, you know, castration of child rapists. You're going to mess with a kid. There should be some dire consequences. Would this actually fall underneath the cruel and unusual punishment aspect in the Constitution?
Let me get their opinions on it, and then we'll go back around with the discussion.
I'm a little in between.
Okay.
Actually, with cruel and unusual punishment, it would fall under that.
For or against?
I would be for it, though.
Okay, so here's my thoughts on it, and well, you guys can jump in as much as you want. I'm not mad at anybody for liking what they like, but because I believe that people are just the way that they are, right? So, but the thing about it is, you cannot act on that. You're not messing around with fucking children. That's not happening. So, when it comes to it being too extreme, I think especially if it's established, you do that, you get what you get. I have no remorse if they're caught red-handed. Now, I agree with him in terms of not trusting the justice system, because I don't trust the system to be flawed. Like, there's plenty of people that have been on death row that are then acquitted because it's like, oh, you're not guilty at all, and so on that aspect of it, I'm not quite as gung ho about it, but in a general sense, absolutely, cut the fucking shit off, cut the shit right off.
Well, and think about that. If you're going to put that as a capital punishment, why not say just go to the extreme and say, murder the individual that's going to mess with the kids at that point? Because if you're going to take away that ability and you're going to have those massive amount of appeals, like, dude, like, why not just make it? If you're going to say it's harsh, why not make it all the way harsh?
I personally have no problem with that.
No, I see it in a couple different lights here. Look at it this way. As far as the justice system being flawed, well, it is. But at the same time, if you want to look at people that were on death row and they're finally getting acquitted, that's because our technology and our ability to actually test evidences now has come to light.
Good point.
In a much more advanced way. So we're like, oh shit. So
very, very good point.
In that aspect, our forensics and our leaps and bounds in technology that keep happening.
Well,
honestly, it's going to pin you on that. But to go to the all the way point, like, you're still committing murder. It's just it's still murder's murder. You're still committing murder. It's just it's an accepted societary murder. In other words, so you killed somebody. All right, that dude that is going to lethal inject you,
you're right.
He's committing murder.
So basically, Batman's not going to agree with you or us.
So you're still committing murder at that point. But it's the entire means of of the crime. In other words, if you rob or you beat someone, does that necessarily entail you to an equivalent of death? No.
I
But
guess I'm
but-
feeling that argument.
if you're going to sit there and go to extremes, yeah. But the point of this is you did a sexual act. So
and
the
when that person
equivalent-
goes
let
into
me finish. Let me finish.
no.
You have a habit.
You guys are friends.
When a person
me and
sits
Shaquille.
there and commits a sex crime, an equivalent would be something like castration. That would be an equivalent means. They didn't
They
kill
didn't kill him.
anybody.
That's interesting. I don't
So
mind that.
therefore, you can't designate death to somebody
I'm okay with
that
that.
didn't do something. But it's also setting an example for other people. Like, hey, you really want to do something this stupid? It's not going to end well for you.
I'm okay with
But
that.
here's the thing: if you're saying there's equivalent to it, currently, when you are a child sex offender and you go to prison, you are at the bottom echelon of prison.
Oh hell yeah!
and
Everybody
they-
beats the fuck out of
You
you.
can not only get the shit kicked out of you, but you become a power bottom.
Yeah, and then it's
What
cool.
the fuck do you know about power bottom?
They rape the fuck out of you, and then
Can they just be a bottom? Why they gotta be a power bottom, Bill? I guess they got no choice, huh?
Yeah, they had no choice on that one.
Like
so,
you were already the scum. Like
Yeah.
amongst criminals, they even look at you and go, "You crossed the fucking line."
So, all right. So, what do you guys think about like if you steal something, you get your fucking fingers and hands cut off? What do you guys think about that?
That doesn't seem
Damn,
very
tough, but-
fair. Or
I'm all for it.
I
I have to agree. I'm all for that.
So you
too.
think that's extreme? Like if you steal from somebody and they want to hand or like depending on the amount, I guess.
Well, what they used to do was first offenses. I'm a student of history. I like knowing why laws happen, but you're in certain countries the way it worked was like the first offense you lost like the tip of a finger
Okay.
Okay.
or a finger.
Alright.
You lose one and like
Hold
don't
on.
do it
What do you
again.
think about that? Because I see you
Alright.
think that's like extreme. So it's like okay, this is like a warning. All right, we take this and it's a warning, right?
It's like a toad chip
So
over
they're like, I
bicycles.
don't give a shit about your laws. So then we take this, right? So then they're like, I still don't give a shit about yours. And then we take this. I still don't give a shit. And then we take this.
Okay, bye. Your hand.
So it's like, at what point does that person is that person going to learn? And at what point do we say, where do we stop cutting off? And you know what I'm saying? So
Well, you just go to the other hand after that point.
They did.
let me hear what he has to say about it because he was kind of opposed to the
Sorry.
idea of it. So no, it's fine. Go ahead. Let me hear what you got to say about it. What are your thoughts on it?
Just starting to dismember someone. This doesn't seem equivalent. I mean, when you say stealing,
Well-
like stealing anything.
Well, you also have to understand that.
No, like the height of it. Like if it's like you steal a pencil from somebody, you get.
Oh,
you know,
if you
get
steal it.
I'm just making a point. Obviously, that's
It would-
ridiculous.
it
You're not
would
even
all
looking for
depend
that.
on the
But it's like, let's say
expenditure.
you steal $100 worth of something, then you get the tip. You know
Oh.
what I mean? So what would you do? How do you think, like, in terms of that sort of thing? How would you handle it? Because I think if people know their shit's gonna get cut off, they're gonna think twice about stealing. That's what I think.
That would make a lot more sense. It would all depend on the level of the crime.
That's true. I totally
Because a
agree with
pencil. I
that.
would
No,
be-
we know. Obviously, I'm
like
just
something
saying
as
it's
small
not
as
it's
a
not
pencil,
everything.
Just something like that's worth 25 cents. I don't think you should get.
No.
a
I
piece
totally
cut
agree
off.
with you. So what do you think?
I don't know. It just seems kind of savage to just go back to like earlier times where we're just starting dismembering people. And
Well, and here's a good
Are we-
thing about that. So
did
they
we
get.
develop enough so we wouldn't have to?
But
I get what you're
ripping people
saying, and
apart,
it makes me
teaching
think
a
about
lesson.
it makes me think about how like in some countries gays get stoned and thrown off buildings. So it's like that's the beginning of that sort of way of thinking and dealing with
Are we
things.
gonna
Do you know what I'm
go back
saying?
to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but there's some
That-
things that
that's something
did you say can we go back to that? Is that what you said?
That's underneath the
Yeah,
same
I know.
cruel and unusual punishment because look at different aspects of history. Even like Jean Valjean in Les Miserables, he was imprisoned in that musical for life for stealing a loaf of bread so his family could eat, and that
yeah.
stayed with him the entire time. So it's literally that same thing of do you have prison reform that if a person goes and robs something, is there a way back for them? And if you start taking digits from them as consequences for stealing, granted you're gonna lose your whole hand at that point, but that's basically society telling that person that's stealing that once you go down that dark road, that there's no coming back. And Star Wars did teach us differently.
Yeah, go ahead.
Another thing is they're not gonna stop even if they do stop stealing. They're not gonna stop stealing because they feel it's wrong. It's morally wrong. They're gonna stop stealing because they don't want their digits and hands cut off.
The point is that they stop stealing.
But
That's
isn't
the
it?
point.
But you're
I know
You want
you're
someone
just
to
so you're,
stop doing
so in
something?
other words, you would prefer that person to go to like a mental institution to learn how it's wrong to steal,
Mental institution.
right? I'm not joking. I'm
I'm
being
not-
serious.
That's
case, they
what
just
prison
give them electric
started
shocks.
as.
Because they do
Entire
now.
time.
Think about
Like
this.
shots?
If you take that same way of thinking, They do that with people that molest children. They instead of sending them to prison and having the kind, they send them to mental institutions because
But
it's a mental problem.
That's how prisons started.
Molesting children is still.
Well, I'm giving an
Kinda
example of like
different
the way
spectrum.
the road that leads to though.
Hold on. One of our oldest prisons in the United States was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania State Correctional Facility. That correctional facility started as a mental health institution where they would take criminals, put them into the individual cells where they wouldn't have any interaction with anyone, which is hilarious because you're basically saying that solitary confinement, to rehabilitate them back into society. And our fundamental belief in our prison systems was to try to rehabilitate, give people education. Granted, it's become more profit than anything else now.
Here,
Yeah.
the other countries, and now all of them obviously, but other countries they're about rehabilitating and getting them back into society.
But saying,
Yeah.
hey, we're
and
going
treating
to,
them like human beings.
to cut
actually.
off your hand for stealing, that's a reaction to the problem rather than addressing the cause of the problem.
Now,
If a person's stealing
I
because
I get your point, right? But we're talking about somebody who's not stealing for hunger, not stealing to take care of their family, not stealing because they can't get a job. We're not talking about that. We're talking about somebody who is, stealing just because of the pleasure of stealing, or they just want a piece of shit. Yeah. So somebody breaks into your house and steals your shit just because they want to sell it to get more money, not because they necessarily need it, just because they want it. That's what we're talking about.
Then you have your stand your ground laws, which are hilarious.
Oh no, we don't want to get into all the different laws, but you get my point. You're
Yeah.
not. Maybe say you're at work and you're not home. There is no stand your
I don't
ground.
think it's up to the law to teach people about morals.
But it does though.
But I think it's up to people to teach themselves. Like, we don't have to rely. Like, we're grown ups. We should understand what's right and wrong. And obviously,
Yeah, but
if you do something wrong, you get a punishment that you deserve and you get.
In a better
even though
world,
you know it.
in a better world, I totally agree with you. But that realistically, we're not there. We're just not there as a people.
Thank you. Thank
We're just
you.
not.
Thank
So,
you.
Oh,
I
I think we gotta find a
Who decides what punishment?
It sounds like Uncle Sam over here.
Uncle John decides
Yeah.
what the punishments are. If I don't like it, I know what you're saying. It's like barbaric. We're supposed to be gotten to a point where we're like better than that. I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah, but at the same point, all right, I'm going to touch base on this because this is actually a topic, not the sidebar, too badly.
After you make your point, to move to the next thing because we're gonna get stuck here. I think,
this is one thing that hits home a little bit for me is people saying, "Oh, we're a more advanced species," and this and that. And the thing is, yeah, in America, I will give you, there's a lot going on, and we've come quite a ways. Go outside of your comfort zone. Go to the barbaric countries that still exist, because yes, they still exist, and you will have a whole new world of, oh my god. Well, and that's when you're going to start really seeing when you're going to countries where they don't have the luxury we do. What we take is like, oh, I'm poor. To them, you're a king.
Right. I think a lot of that's lost with the people in the United States.
That barbarism, as we see it, is their way to live.
Right. People die every day trying to get water.
But then you also see the true. Well, you see the
true
true evil in those countries, because you see people that literally have everything, have no need to do what they're doing, and are merely going out there and being evil. I mean, every sense of the word evil.
What's interesting about that too is our sense of what's right and wrong when it comes to countries doing what they do. The United States, the influence and things that we've done on a worldwide scale, a lot of it's really, really bad. So we're not really better than a lot of places. We are in terms of our standards of how we live here. You know what I mean? But like when we take for granted like being able to have running water and we're spraying it all over our lawns and all this kind of stuff. That people see that and it's like, you're spraying your lawn with fucking water and we're dying over here. It's like,
you saw what California did during their drought.
No.
California, because their drought, they weren't able to actually water their lawns. Mm-hmm. They went around and painted the lawns green.
Wow.
That's so ridiculous.
That's bad. That's so bad.
But yeah, the reason I made that point is like so many people sit there and like, oh well, we shouldn't revert to barbarism, and I'm like, you need to understand that there's a certain kind of evil out there, that there is no nice way of dealing with it.
After talking with the group here, I'm in the middle on it. I don't want to go backwards in the sense of stoning people and all that kind of stuff, but at the same time, I think the laws need to be a little bit more stringent when it comes to certain things. They just do. Like I can't stand it when I see child molesters getting
a
short amounts of
strike
time.
I think in that
Right,
case,
and
One
then-
strike
it's
and it should be left
rightful.
nut.
Right, and then
in
you,
this specific case, I think it's completely deserved.
and then like you get a guy who sells weed and he gets 25 years. You know what I mean? Like what the
Yeah,
fuck
yeah,
is
yeah.
going on? You know?
That's my point. Is you're seeing serious crimes, serious offenses like this that aren't really getting bashed, and everybody's like, oh well, he's got a problem. It's like, well, he's got a problem, but he keeps doing it.
Yeah, fuck that.
So
He got a problem.
let's think
Shit.
about this for 2 seconds, and let's end that train of thought. Let's end that. Let's get rid of that. Like, let's do something.
I'm
about
okay
that.
with letting him
But
have his life,
If
but
you're sitting there and, like you said, if you're doing something menial that's really stupid and smoking pot, and
yeah,
we're
you
gonna-
do young kid
or
doing
selling
yeah.
pot, and they're gonna sit there and just sham you on it.
No.
And it's like, but this dude's sitting in a jail cell, rotting his life away. But you're not trying to help him.
You know,
Like there's a give and take that I feel, like you said, it what America said, where it's become a money pit and we're not actually focusing on
That's
helping
very
our
true.
own society.
That's very true.
It's
all-
all about money. It's always
yeah.
about money.
look, person goes and screws a kid, you get a lifetime in jail with as much Vaseline as you need.
Magnetic. Final thoughts on that subject? Anybody want anything else to say about it? No?
No, 'cause we could
Good.
beat it to death.
Moving on. All right. So this leads into a little bit about the current state of how the feeling toward police in this country. Now, I personally think that there is a agenda to try to cause unrest in our country when it comes to police officers. I think that there's been an influx of, and I've talked about this on other podcasts, but I think there's been an influx of like videos and things that have been put out on YouTube and Facebook trying to like stir the shit up and make people violent towards police. I don't know what the ultimate goal is, but it's like, so when you talk about like Black Lives Matter and all that kind of stuff, and it's like those people get stirred up by those videos and they go out and they want to, all of a sudden, like now they want to care about Black lives. And I said this before in other podcasts, so it's like, if Black lives matter, they should matter all the time, and not just when supposedly police officers are slaughtering people. And it's like, when you talk about slaughtering people, your inner cities, your black inner cities, that's where your slaughter's happening. So if you care about Black lives, care about them all the time. I've said this before, but I just wanted to get you guys' take on it. You can start over here. What do you think about the current state of people when it comes to police in this country?
I'm not gonna lie. There is
would
there
you
are
lie?
bad cops. There are bad cops.
Obviously,
there are
but
bad
that doesn't mean
apples.
they're wrong.
But for the
Anything
most
has
part,
bad people.
From what
in it.
I've seen in my own personal experiences, cops aren't that bad. And when you go down to when you go down statistics wise in inner cities, most crimes done to black people are done by other black people. And then most crimes done to white people are done by other white people. So it's really one color on one color. You don't see much of the interracial hatred going on unless if you're going to what we're going through now in our country and all the dissent that's going on, where the white supremacists and the white hate, and like it's really stupid how we are going backwards.
Now, you talked about how there's bad cops. Obviously, anything that we're dealing with, there's going to be people that are bad or whatever, right? So there was a recent incident where a woman was pulled over and she didn't have her license, and she had some sort of medical problem. And because she didn't have her license, they focused on the fact that she didn't have her license and locked her up. And they did not take her to the hospital. I forget what her medical problem was, but she ended up dying in the hospital because of it, because they didn't give her any medical treatment. She happened to be black, right? So, so that stirred. We didn't hear a lot about that in the news, and then but it was the same jail where that woman, I think his name was Sandra Bland. You heard about her? You know about her?
Yeah, I heard about her.
Oh wait, where
Sandra
she,
Bland.
was found hanging. From a
Yeah,
roof?
it's the same
Just
jail.
mysterious.
Yeah, it's the same jail. So stuff like that is that goes to the guys that we would that's bad. There's no, but you're gonna find it anywhere. So when you see that stuff and it's like they want to use a blanket statement across, everybody's like that, all the cops are like that, and that's so not true. And so you turn it around and you look at how if you got like black people and they do certain things, and then you want to blanket black people that, like all of them are thugs or whatever. It's the same fucking thing, So, but also, I and this is like I don't like it when I see cops that are like jittery, in the sense of you're in a position where you have decided to put your life on the line, right? And you have a gun, and so you have to have the ability to you can take somebody's life,
Well,
right?
here's the thing: if you're jittery, that's just a reflection on your overall training, because
Right.
that's telling me that you have a lot of adrenaline being dumped into your system. Sam's got. You have a lot of adrenaline being.
We'll let everybody else go, and then we'll let you go.
I know Sam's got a good one.
We'll let everybody else say something.
You have a lot of adrenaline dumping in. It means you're going to shake. And, honestly, if you're going to be out there, you're going to need to know how to handle a lot of those situations. And it's not something that you're just going to pick up really easily. There's going to be people out there in all different facets of the world that have dealt with those things, know how to react to them, and can do so in a very nonviolent format. But, look, here's my take. My father was a cop, and he told me, look, if a cop pulls a gun, they're going to kill you. Straight up. Because the thing is, if it's gotten to the point that the cop is pulling a gun, they're trained to shoot to kill and dump their entire mag into you without thinking and then keep going. So if you actually have a cop pull a gun on you, expect to die.
Okay, let me jump in real quick.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Now here's the thing. What that's basically telling me is that we're telling our police officers that the moment you're feeling threatened, pull that weapon and end any threat toward you, which is correct. What we should be telling our police officers, is figure out and assess the situation to determine if it is a lethal threat to your life and be able to end that threat in the most expedient format possible. There are other means out there, from rubber bullets to tasers. Now, if you look at a cop's set, their weapon first choice is lethal. Then the next one that you can get in terms of reaching is going to be your taser. It should be the other way around, where you have your tasers more readily available than your lethal weapon. Now, in addition to that, cops need to also be trained on how to shoot their weapon. I have seen it, where police officers, and there have been other documented cases where police officers shot dozens of rounds at a criminal and missing the criminal down in New York City and hitting a bystander. But I've actually seen it where... and this was right down the road. My wife hit a deer, and the police showed up, and I was like, look, I'll dispatch the deer with a knife for you. You don't have to do the paperwork for a round. And the guy's like, no, I want to do it. He made me back up 60 feet. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Shoot the deer. He's like, oh, no, back up. He finally, about 2 feet away from the deer, discharged and missed.
Oh my
What?
God.
At 2 feet from the deer.
Are you kidding?
His supervisor started laughing at him. I started laughing at him. He then cocked his weapon back again and shot again and missed.
Wow.
His partner had to tell him, put the gun straight to its head and put it out of its misery.
Let me tell you a quick story real quick, and then if anybody else wants to jump in, then I'll let Sam finish that segment. You're gonna finish it, Sam. Don't worry.
Sam over here ready to go.
Okay, so I had an incident where I was walking back from a friend's house. We were playing Dungeons and Dragons, and 5 cops pulled up on me and had guns drawn on me. 5 of them, right? Now I didn't know anything about what this was about. I just happened to be walking home and be black. I don't like, and I'm not mad at that, because when you get a description of who's doing what,
WWW.
you got to figure out what it is. I'm not mad at that. It just sucks to be in the position of
walking while black.
You fucking jackass! Did you say WWB? You're walking while black. So make me fuck up my story. So, okay, so let me tell you how it played out, right? So they pull the guns on me. Obviously, I'm terrified. I'm not used to having that many guns in my face or any guns in my face. And if I take the mindset that you just talked about, however, if they pull your gun on you, you expect to die. I could have went crazy or whatever, but I didn't. I just was like, I knew I didn't do anything, so I'm like, all right, where are you coming from? They're asking me, where's your ID? What do you got in the bag? I do all the stuff, right? They apologized to me and profusely apologized to me, right? And they just told me the description of a person that had just robbed an old lady at knife point. That's what they told me, and that's who they're looking for. And he did the description. Sadly, I fit the description. You know what I mean? I hate to say, because that people, use the description, but because I handled myself a certain way, nothing happened, right? Now, there's been other incidences where, I was accused of things that had nothing to do with them. But I'm outside. They got me taking pictures outside, and they got me, make sure you don't go anywhere. We're coming back for you. All this shit, and I didn't know nothing about nothing. I just happened to fit the description, and it sucks to be in that position. But at the same time, on the other side of it, it's like, let's say you're a cop and you're in some of these inner cities, right? And a lot of these places, they have where it's like children pull guns on you, right? So when you see some of this stuff where these cops are pulling guns on kids and all that kind of stuff, it's like, how could they do that to a child? Blah 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 blah. So it's like you gotta understand it. The job that they're doing is a very extraordinarily dangerous one.
So after a couple of shootings last year, they had a news reporter go to a local police precinct where they actually gave him all the gear that they'd have to train a cop. And they said, we're going to put you in a situation to see what you do. So they put him into what would be an active shooter situation to determine whether... am I taking your thunder?
No. He's going to get it. I'm trying to...
Well,
if you want to jump in on him, you can.
They put him into an active shooter situation where this reporter had to go in and determine whether or not he needed to shoot the person he was dealing with.
Use lethal force or not.
Right, and more often than not, during that scenario, the reporter killed civilians.
Yikes.
And he didn't actually kill it. Well, what it was, that entire scenario was a reporter that was bashing cops on a religion. Bashing them, like, you don't know your jobs, you need to know when to use the right force, da da da. So they put him in what cops and military are trained as a high-intensity situation. You don't know.
Right.
So you walk in and the dude's just rushing you. You don't know if he's got anything. You don't know what's in. So what does the reporter do? Kills the dude. What does the dude have? Nothing. He goes around the side of a car. There's a dude sitting on the side of the car doing something funny. He's like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Trying to talk to him? This guy didn't stop. He turned and shot him.
Wow. Yeah, but
Shot the reporter as the cop, and he went...
That shows you how severe the situation is
Now,
when you're dealing with guns and
That's
people's
the
lives and all that
scenario
kind of stuff.
You're talking, and I'm going to cut myself now.
So, do you guys have thoughts on this topic we were just talking about?
Yeah, I have thoughts.
Go ahead.
So yeah, I think there's a lot of variables to situations when cop and police officers. So I guess some situations are more understandable than others. It's like more gray areas. And yeah, there is bad cops too. But I think a big problem as to why I guess certain like cops I guess shoot civilians or end up killing someone that may or may not have deserved it is because the I guess the punishment I guess is paid vacation. Something along the
Well,
lines.
I don't think it's necessary. I know what you're talking about. So you're
I
talking
don't think
about.
that's going through their mind.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that's the thought out. I don't think it's thought out like that. So you're saying that they're less inclined to not shoot somebody because the punishment for doing so is not that severe. It's a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
I don't think it's thought out like that either. I don't know. None of us know, but I don't think that's what it
I
is.
mean, if it's a dirty cop.
If it's going to become
yeah,
between
but if it's an actual
you,
accident.
if it's going to become
it
between
happens, like-
you or me, and I got to make the decision of who's going to die here, well, guess who I'm picking?
Well, let's do this. Did you have any more thoughts on what we're talking about?
No.
Did you want to say anything about this?
No, just simple.
Also-
Well, what do you think? You still got more? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I want to ask. Another thing is, I noticed that in our country compared to other countries, there is more of a death rate, I guess, from cops. So I'm just
'Cause we
wondering,
have
is it
police.
us or is it just that we're not trained
Oh,
correctly?
all right, no. I actually, I
Sam's
want
going after- Sam's
Uncle
going after
Sam
you.
because
Sam.
he's been there.
All
He's
right,
seen
go ahead.
this shit.
Let's
so let him.
let you
yeah.
finish up
Let
this
Uncle
segment.
Sam
Go ahead, Uncle Sam. Lay it on us.
All right, we're going to start from the beginning here. Everybody's making awesome, valid points about bad cops. Bad cops, it's like anything. Bad is bad is bad. They make the rep for everybody bad. The other problem I'm seeing is, like you were saying earlier, with the social media. Social media can make you a god or make you a devil. That social media is a horrible thing, and I've seen it not just with the police force, but with being a deployed soldier or deployed marine, deployed troops, where you can look like the hero over there, or you can come home and be spit on. Been there, done that, experienced it. Where I came home and I had kids my own age, not the older gen, not the older guys that went through Vietnam and Korea and Gulf, not the older gen, but kids my own age, calling me a baby killer,
That is so offensive.
calling me a dog murderer,
Brother man,
calling me all of these things.
you know, I think
the only
there's
time I'm gonna
something
call you
happening-
baby killers when you're killing all the baby
So,
rips.
so my point being though is like, nobody knew unless you were there what that situation entailed.
Yeah, yeah.
And because of how the media cast it, and there was times that people would sit there like, well, you did this, and they're like, dude, that happened like 3 years ago. And literally, the media was broadcasting bullshit stories
I'm
about
telling
what
you.
we were doing.
So like it feels.
And we actually we sat there and we tell our families, and both of us did. Well, my friends and my family that had been over there too. We'd tell people, we're like, don't listen to that. Do not listen to that because it's bullshit.
My opinion
So-
about some of that though is this is happening in the schools, like in the colleges and things.
Yes.
They're like programming the kids to
Yes.
think a certain way.
We'll hit that later. But
Okay.
right now, let's
All right, go ahead.
let's tap this right now. So, yeah, you have bad cops, all right, and I've been saying for years, training, all right. Your police force is trained a very certain way, and I understand it. Now, military, we're trained a certain way, all right. So your military forces are trained a certain way. Your police forces are trained a certain way. Your specialized police forces are trained a certain way, just like your SF teams are trained a certain way. So you have specialized teams that take that training to the next level. Very precision, very tactical, very accurate. Now, if you're a beat cop or like a patrol soldier or whatnot, now you get training on trigger control, and you only need this many rounds. And you want to know the truth of the statement? You put as many rounds needed to stop that threat. Because there's times you can shoot people and they don't stop. You can shoot them again, they still won't stop. You can shoot them again, they still won't stop. Now the difference though is you've got training versus training. All right, so cops are taught. Well, this was the old way of teaching. I don't know how the academies teach anymore, but they would pop a target and they dump a clip. Dump, reload, dump a clip. All right, so that was a major training point. Was to unload rounds on that target to obliterate your threat. Good principle, but at the same time very bad. It's good for your reaction time, but let's start training that trigger control. The other thing you have to realize is you have to realize the caliber of the weapon. You have to realize what make of weapon it is, because I'll tell you right now, the M9, the Beretta M9 that became a service issue weapon, there's a reason it's getting phased out, because it's junk. At 20 meters, I can and miss you completely. Just constantly
That's
miss.
so dangerous.
And you're sitting there going, well, how am I supposed to be deadly accurate? How is
That's
this
true.
going to protect me when it's not even hitting my target? Now do you see why that unload process comes? Because you're getting that scatter shot. But now, take that back to the old Colt 1911 that used to be issued. It was dead nuts. So your equipment and your training have to work hand in hand. So now you've got cops that are doing the best with what they have, and the entire thought in their head when they see a threat that becomes violent is, crap, am I going home tonight? Now, I'm not saying that's for all the cops, but for a generalization, they're out there trying to do a job, trying to do a service. Now, you also have your different level of cop, okay? So, you have your local PD, all right? That's the dude you see on your street every day walking. That's your local PD. That's the one that he, in perfect times, would be walking up and down. Pretty much, if you're around and you're out in the community, you'll know that dude and he'll know you. Back in my old small town, everybody knew a cop named Sergeant Decker. Some hated him, some liked him, but there was also there was a bunch of the older cops that they'd actually come up to you and be like, hey, how's your day been? How's your old man doing? They got to know you. But at the same time, now you have sheriffs. That's your next level up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's your next main thing you see cruising around. You don't know them.
Sure don't.
They don't know you. Let's go up to the troopers. Do they know you? And they're mostly dicks when they come out of that car. The first thing every civilian will think of, or anybody that's not been in a uniform, is when this dude comes up, you're an asshole. That's how they're personified, because of the way they carry themselves. They're taught, though, that's an authoritative voice, because it gets that response of, you're really not going to fuck with me because I'm giving you commands instead of asking. The reason I'm giving you commands is so you're not going to bolt out.
I don't do
but
well with that.
no, you don't think about it, but this is the
No,
psychology.
I'm saying I don't do
behind it.
well in that situation. I don't.
So
I
a lot of people don't respond well to it because you get nervous and you're fumbling. You're like, oh God, he's
don't,
angry.
yeah, not me.
I know everybody acts that way, but you get that regular beat cop that comes up. He's like, hey, how you doing tonight? What's going on? License registration. Where you coming from? Where you going to? And they talk to you, and you get that little bit of persona to it.
So-
You see the difference in
Yeah,
level?
yeah.
All right, so to expound upon this whole thing with like cops shooting and whatnot, and like Bill said, when they unloaded rounds
Who
on
said?
people, or
What America?
White America, sorry, buddy. Hey, I don't want to hear it. Anyways, so like you were saying, where they were unloading rounds on people, training. All right, that's your training. When you're taught to do something, so it's muscle memory. That's how anybody in a uniform that deals with these expertises is trained. You're trained to become muscle memory, so you don't have to think about the action. You just have to react. Now, getting back to White America's point about adrenaline and the jittery of a cop,
Mhm.
All right, I'm going to tell you right now, when you're in a situation and shit gets hostile, you don't know that pain, especially when you're going, who's going to try and kill me today?
So I actually I want to.
I'm not
I know,
done.
but I want to point you in a direction that I think a lot of people don't realize that you might not see that you've talked to me about before. The difference between like your local beat cop on a corner and an MP.
Oh, okay. Oh no, I know what you're saying.
This is
no,
as
no.
it pertains to this
Oh, yeah.
discussion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I see what he's saying. It's not between the MPs. You're talking about martial law and state.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah, do that, and then we gotta wrap up.
yeah,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
But here's a major point that people fail to see. Like that cop he's using an escalation of force. The escalation of force is stop. He's giving you a verbal command. If you as the person refuse that order, you're threatening that officer. Like the smartest thing to do is comply. The dude's got a gun.
Yeah.
Don't be stupid about it. So when
sure I
people are like,
mentioned that
I'm gonna
earlier.
question a cop, I'm like, you're retarded. That dude's got a gun.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit there. Yeah, it might be wrong. You want to know the smartest thing? Fight him in court. Get yourself a lawyer. Fight him in court. You'll at least have your life.
Yeah. I
But
tell
what
people
the problem that people have
not
is they
worth
don't
it.
realize that this cop is using escalation of force. Stop. Stop. That's his next level. He's gotten louder with you to make sure you're hearing him. He's giving you commands. The next is to reach. That's your next level. That's a show of force. That is me showing you, hey, I'm being serious. Stop. The next is I'm drawing. All right? See how the escalation goes? But that escalation can happen that quick. If you don't comply and you keep walking towards him, how close does he have to wait for that fire to come out? How close is he supposed to wait for that gun to come out?
Yeah.
If I'm from me to her away,
That's too close.
that's way too close for her to pull a gun. I'll be honest. If I'm from me to you away, it's still too close, believe it or not. So you see that correlation? He's using an escalation of force. What people don't realize is how quickly that has to happen. So if you don't comply. Now, here's the difference that Bill wants to talk about. When it comes to martial law, the big thing that people, martial
This
law.
is funny.
All right? Martial law
Could
is
use some
literally
funny.
where the cops get overworked. There is a mass something happening, and they just don't have enough people. So they go, all right, we're going to send you some guys. And that's when the military comes in. Here's the difference, though. We have an escalation of force. Ours is a lot more violent and quick because we're not cops. We're not going to play with you. My job is not to sit here and play with you. My job is I gave you a directive. Don't comply, please. I will put you in the ground. I will do whatever it takes. My escalation of force is very quick, very rapid, very violent. That is our job. Our job is to keep the peace. And like when riots happen and lootings happen and all this other stuff happens, you're gonna see a lot of martial law dudes where it's very violent, it's very quick, and everybody's like, oh my god, look at what they're doing. Well, that cop has given you an order, you didn't listen.
So you're saying basically if it gets to a point where there's a martial law situation declared, it's going to be like they're not out there to talk to you. They're out there to
We're out there
listen
to keep the
and
peace
you so.
because
Now, when you say keep the peace, are you talking about when these people are acting up? You're just they're going to get it and they're going to get shot,
no,
or
I'm
is
not
it?
saying you're gonna get shot, but I'm saying if you're stupid enough to pull a gun during a time like that, you're
Well,
asking. to
anybody
get
who
shot.
pulls a gun is asking for
Well,
some trouble.
my
But I
point-
get your point.
My point is if what people don't realize is we're gonna come in and we're just gonna beat you down for the most part. Like if
Right.
you're messing up, we don't have time. There's way too much going on, and you're taking advantage of a shitty situation.
Yeah.
So we're gonna handle it, although roughly, humanely. Now, if you're stupid enough to be one of those people that wants to go after martial law employees, i.e., soldiers, Marines, whatever have you, if you want to go after them and they're rocking around locked and loaded, if they're rocking around as a police force and you're stupid enough to come after them, it's not going to be received as well. Now it's one of those, all right. Now we have our riot control gear. We have rubber pellets and all that stuff and hornets nests that we do utilize. But use lethal force. You see how the dynamic changes?
What is a horn? What's hornet's nest?
All
What
right,
the
a
hell is
hornet's
that?
nest. A hornet's nest is a grenade full of rubber balls.
Oh
I know
shit,
this.
that's awesome.
And it sucks.
Where did we get that from?
It
sucks.
hurts like hell. Holy fuck, it's mean.
I want to try some of
And
this shit.
what
I know
they-
I regret it, but I want to try
Is
some
it,
of
like,
it.
worse
Like
than
to
paintball?
endure it.
Paintball.
Like,
Hey.
Paintball's nothing.
Yeah, okay, I see that.
So
I can't. I gotta go to the next. If you want to finish up.
Well,
your
I
points.
just want to finish
Go
up
ahead.
that
Go ahead.
rubber. All right, that hornet's
Yeah, that's
nest.
just awesome.
To simulate what it is, most people are like, oh, so like a paintball.
No,
No,
I said worse
I'm
than
throwing
a
a grenade. Only the shrapnel coming out of it is rubber balls,
That's fucking
and
awesome.
it hurts like
not
hell.
know.
It is a riot control thing. It's nasty.
All right, so what I'm gathering, just to wrap up, is like, so people need to think about put themselves in the shoes of the officers and all that kind of stuff, and not think about how they are viewing the situations as opposed to like an officer who's been trained and who's endured and who has dealt with these things that they're not in those positions. So I know it's easy to look at YouTube and look at Facebook and look at these videos and all these kinds of things and pass judgment, but you got to take yourself out of yourself and step back and look at the bigger picture. That's what I'm taking from this. I'm gonna let you pick the next topic from there since you got to leave soon, and we'll hit on that, and then you can go do your food thing. No. You pick whatever you want. Don't be led by the
White America.
White America. Always try to fucking White America. Always try to.
In fact,
Can we let him pick?
let me
erase
all the other
everything
topics.
else and put in White America. Turn everything white and pick
How
up the.
about kids use the internet like the drugs?
Okay, so I saw something recently where
Sure, that's...
a girl was addicted to the internet, right? And it got so bad to the point where, yeah, it was like that. So her parents were concerned about it and all that kind of
Scratching like
stuff.
she's an
And
addict?
yeah, not quite like that, but they treated it like she had an addiction. They actually put her in an institution.
I was just gonna talk about that actually. I read about that recently.
Right.
That
So
they have technology detox camps.
she ended
That's
up.
Yeah,
insane.
they have that in like I think China or something, or in Japan too. I think because it's very prevalent there as well.
Really?
Where people are like just always on the
What
computer.
the fuck? Can you?
Always
It's so
online.
addicted to the internet. Is
Yeah.
that like so?
It's
yeah,
your
go ahead, what?
it's your dopamine response. So
Yeah, and they treat it like a drug,
Yeah.
like a drug. But
so what happens is you're getting the positive reward of, let's say you're playing a game and the game gives you something. Well, your brain's releasing dopamine. You keep on doing it, you keep on playing those games, you're still going to have that release of dopamine, and that's going to constantly happen. So that is with all over the internet, on almost every single thing that's out there, that you're looking for something, you're looking for a particular item
Yeah.
or some knowledge or whatever the hell you're looking for out there. When you find it, you have that release of dopamine, you want more. After a while, you just have to do it. That's a neurochemical transmitter.
right. So they
release.
talked about how it's like they want to run away from their problems. They can use the internet to do that.
Yeah,
And
well,
it's like,
absolutely.
wow.
The full study on it is if you look at a lot. All right, Einstein said it right. He fears the day that technology is going to make us all stupid, and the day is upon us, folks. The day is upon us.
I would agree with that.
Well, you have to look at it this way. Like, it's true. You're getting a chemical reaction. You're getting an addiction. It's just like anything else, where you're getting that feel good. But the problem is you've got a lot of children nowadays that they don't know how to socialize. They don't know how to do this, where I can look at a person and talk to them.
Oh my God!
It's
So-
very
Oh my
difficult.
God.
It's actually, believe it or not, very difficult for them to
I've
read
seen
emotion
it. I've
and
seen
read
it.
body language
People are-
because
Oh my God!
they
yes.
literally talk.
I've
Always,
seen it.
yep.
all they do is they talk through.
No,
a
not
phone.
even. They text.
Well, they're not even talking though.
Yeah.
It's all typing
Exactly,
and
yeah.
emojis. And
Yeah.
if they can't see an emoji, they can't read the face. They
I've
can't read the
seen it.
body
People
language.
have
They can't
become
tell.
socially inept.
So they
Yeah.
become socially inept. But it's also, if you think about it, what is everybody doing on social media? They're out there to get likes. Think about it. Every time you get a like, you're getting a shot of dopamine.
Mm-hmm.
Another like, shot of dopamine.
Friend requests.
Friend request, shot of dopamine. You're getting your photos liked on Instagram, shot of dopamine. Your tweets are getting
Yeah.
shared and liked and retweeted. Dopamine, 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 dopamine. Now, if I take that all away from you and make you sit in front of a person,
It's torture.
are you getting any
Apparently.
dopamine?
That's
are you
crazy.
getting likes?
So this
are you
goes
getting
back to-
it's an actual addiction because your body is producing the addiction.
So that means we need to have our parents getting in there and not having their kids all over this stuff, right?
That's because they're stupid. People are like, "Oh, it's fine. They're not getting
Well,
in
you're
trouble."
Oh, because now the
Blah,
internet is
blah, blah.
babysitting these fucking
Yeah.
kids.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
worst part about it is, and I've stated this before, is you've got an era now. Mind you, a lot of us '90s kids, we started in the tech era where we went from nothing and grew into it and went, hey, this is getting cool.
VCRs.
Hey, this is pretty
DVDs,
dope.
to
Hey, this
CDs,
is
to
getting awesome.
MP3.
Honestly, when I was a child, they still had Nintendo. I mean, I remember having an Atari as a kid.
No, I understand. I'm saying in the '90s
Super
though,
Nintendo,
that's when you
actually.
started seeing the real rapid progression.
Yeah, but like
of
I don't mind video games to an extent. Like this is not social media is more. It's like
It's a
you can
different animal.
live.
Video games could be an addiction.
You can-
too.
Yeah, that's true.
No, they can.
But he's talking about Atari and Nintendo. Like, this isn't on the level of
Yeah,
the internet and
not
what games are
nowadays.
today.
Not
And I agree with
nowadays.
you. It can be abused like anything else, but this shit is people live here.
But here's the problem though is you've got this entire world online. It's a world. It's its own socio group. It's its own society. It's its own living thing now. Which is why
sure.
actually if you pay attention on social media, all of a sudden you're getting ads now.
That's true. It's,
You're getting
it's
a lot of ads.
crazy now.
You're getting stuff that
You
is
can't even
actually-
watch a fucking
it's hidden.
5-minute video
And it
without
used to be
ads.
like you'd be like, all right,
30
I could watch
seconds.
Like,
this.
you're right. I meant to say
I could
lower
watch
number.
this quick clip that somebody posted and I'd be fine. Next thing you know, waiting for your ad. And you're like, are you fucking kidding me?
Scroll to the next one.
We're sitting there like, this is bullshit. But we're also living in an age of instant gratification.
I was just
That's
thinking
true.
of that
Think about
word.
this. Because
Yeah.
no longer do we have to
Definitely.
watch TV and watch commercials. You've got how many different viewing apps that you can just Hulu, Netflix. Hulu still got commercials, but nowhere near what we had. But the thing
You
is,
get rid of them if you pay, actually.
It reminds me
Exactly.
how like 'cause
no,
I
you don't.
like now it's I see like young people are like you guys are
You-
they don't know how
there's
spoiled
a
they
couple
are.
different
Like
levels of that.
No.
anything that you
Yeah.
think of, you can just boom right on here. Like all the games we played when we were young, the emulators are all there.
Yeah.
It's like all the information you want to see is there. All your movies are there. It's everything's right right there.
It's instant
So you don't
gratification.
got to wait for
but
nothing now.
Here's the problem. They don't have retention either. Back in the day, we actually used to have to research. We have to look up things, even though like the internet was a baby.
Their attention span
Was a
is
very,
so short.
very
Well,
little baby that we
I know
didn't
some
have
people
much
like you
to.
can't even watch a movie.
So, well, here's the thing. We used to actually have to go to the library, research, look up things, go get term papers and whatnot. Let me
Well-
finish.
No, because you got to remember something. When you're actually reading and looking at your computer screen, there are studies on this that when you're reading a black and white screen, you're first of all staring at a light bulb, but you're actually
That's not
only
good,
able
yeah.
to retain 33% of what you read, as opposed to a sheet of paper, because you're not staring at light.
That makes sense.
Well, I agree with that, but at the same time, though, if you're going to do research, proper research, you're going to actually sit there and not just quick look up, all right, yeah, that's the answer to it, and then brain dump it. Back in the day, you sat there, and the minute you had to actually look into something, yeah, that's true. Looking at a screen, you're not getting as much retention because of it's a light source versus being light absorption, and we'll not get into the science of it, but versus a book. But at the same time, the work it took to actually go find the book, to find what you needed to look up, find the proper topic, and then find 6 other different topics that correlated with that one, that was effort. Because you couldn't just look at one book because this author had this different. If everybody else agreed, though, now you had a correlation. We had to do that research.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to. The internet does that for them. They get the quick answer and go, okay, that's cool. This is what it is.
I agree
and
with
it's
that.
gone.
But in terms of
Yeah,
doing
that's
schoolwork,
true.
I'd rather have the fucking internet. But I totally agree with you.
So
But it's
I'm
brain
not. I
dump.
want that instant gratification. I got to do all that extra work. But I totally agree with you. You're
But at
right.
the same time, think of all that work, though. Now when you have that easy access, you look it up. 9 times out of 10, you're not really brain dumping it, though.
No, I agree with you.
Like,
Yeah.
because you went through all that work and you realized
Yeah,
that you
I
got this
totally agree
awesome
with you.
tool, you're like, and you can research
I'm
it.
thinking about it in terms of like college because you go through all these classes and you get out and get a job and all those classes have nothing to do with it. That's all I'm saying. But I totally agree
I'm
with
sorry, a lot of stuff I learned in college, I'm using in my
you.
everyday
I
job.
didn't say everything.
But
You're rare.
Yeah, well,
No, he's
no,
not. He's
I'm
not rare. No,
No,
he works.
there's a
He
lot.
works in a place where like so it's like what I'm talking about is like you take an English class, right, or something like that, and you go into a field where it's totally all about math. That's what I'm talking about. Not and there's obviously you're not going to be apply everything you learn to every situation.
Well,
That's when you're not going to do that from college.
gonna be bits
No
of it.
way.
But,
But yeah, I'm not trying to down people going to college and all that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that when you get out into the real world and working at
Totally
jobs,
different.
all the stuff you've been bombarded with in college, you more than likely are just going to get trained for that job and you're going to do that job. Now, I'm not saying there aren't jobs where you're going to benefit from the stuff you learn in college. I'm not saying that. But in a general sense, when people are getting jobs, they're getting trained to do that job. And the college lets the employers know that they have the aptitude to get the training, understand, and do the job.
Yeah, my ass is doing math word problems every single day.
Well,
Well,
you're in a you're in a math field, so that's fine.
Here's a fun, like, scary side effect that I noticed in the early 2000s, right? I had to do a couple of research projects. I went into the library. I went down to the lower levels in the stacks, started looking through books. No bullshit. There were books, this is early 2000s, I pulled out that had dust on them, that hadn't been opened since the
Damn.
70s.
Is there any spells in there?
Wow.
Nope.
Wow.
I'm not
The
gonna slip.
And these are
70s.
things are
70s,
the
buddy, not old enough.
Oh, you're
history
right. I hear
of
dust and I get
things
excited.
like-
Dusty
well,
books.
It's things like history of China, history of Korea that I was doing
really?
cross-reference
That's
researches
pretty
on.
cool.
And when I was pulling stuff out of the book, it was completely in contradiction to what was online.
That's
Of
interesting.
course.
Yeah.
That always happens. That's why I hate doing online research because
Because
everything's
it's-
contradictory.
You should have
It's
probably
so
stole some of that
annoying.
stuff and got your hand cut off.
Yeah, right?
We're gonna move to the next topic. What is it? No.
Yes, come on.
He's got to go.
What the
I'll
hell
see you
is
later.
trophy
They're probably gonna
hunting?
play.
Oh my God, yes, please.
We'll
Leave
get
that to the
get
end.
to that.
Is that
We'll
like
save that
literal? Is
one.
that
We'll get to
figurative?
it.
Is that next
No,
So the
no,
next
no,
one
no,
is
we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
is drug addiction a
Now it's
disease?
just setting out. but-
Okay.
All right, man.
I already gave my opinion on this on the previous show.
Oh, there's new people here. I'd like to ask their opinions on it. Drug addiction. They talk about it being a disease.
Start with everybody else. I'm a talker.
We should. I think did we talk about this?
I feel like we just talked about this with
Drug
kids
addiction.
using the internet.
Well, no. We're talking about.
Use drug addiction.
I choose to put heroin in my arm, and then I know a disease,
Ew.
not just so now it becomes. They say it's a disease now that I'm hooked on it, and I'm like,
What?
The Eternal Darkness over here is bringing it up because I last time said that drug addiction is a disease and should be
fuck
treated
out of here.
as a disease.
Fuck that. I fucking get cancer, and you want to treat the same way somebody chooses to put this shit in their arm?
Yep.
We already did this, so you guys have thoughts on it?
You drank that soda. You choose to have cancer.
You didn't know. Well, well, here's the thing about that. When you talk about you're pulling me. I'm not gonna do it. You're trying to drag me
got
into
you.
it. It would work, but I'm not gonna
White
do
America
it.
getting you again.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
So, what are you guys' thoughts on it?
In all honesty, yeah, it should be treated like a disease.
Fuck you. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
Was that a
It should
proposition?
be. The reason it should be is
Give
that
me a break. Oh, my
after a
God.
certain point, you can't stop. It's become a part of you. And like cancer, where there's certain types of cancer, they're a disease that naturally occurs. Yeah, you're choosing to it. It's not naturally occurring, but it's become a part of you, and you can't stop. It's always gonna be there.
I don't
You're
think
always
that
gonna
shit.
have
Leslie,
that
what do
itch
you? All right.
to do it?
What do
Let's
you
have
got?
Uncle Sam say because come on.
I want to do.
He always
what-
says something.
I mean, I believe alcoholism is a disease because you can actually pass that tendency towards your children. But just because you had a family member that did heroin doesn't mean like, oh, I had the tendency to do heroin, so that's not
Well,
considered a disease.
alcoholism.
bullshit.
Crack babies.
Alcoholism. Okay. Wait,
Alcohol is definitely.
drugs and alcohol. No. It's all drugs. Alcohol's
that's
not
true.
separate from
It's
it.
That's
So if
true.
you're going to say
Yes,
alcoholism is a disease, you're then going to say heroin addiction is a disease.
Yeah, but you just
What
talked
about
about.
crack babies?
You just said drugs are drugs, right? Including
Right.
alcohol into that. So then
Yes.
you could say that alcoholism is a disease based on your definition of what.
Correct.
Bullshit!
And you're saying it's not.
Get the fuck out of here!
Well,
Hell no!
well,
You shoot.
half of addiction is mental. So how is that considered a disease?
Let me tell you something
It's
real
not
quick.
considered a
There's a lot of alcoholism in my family, right? So I was terrified of drinking alcohol.
Hold
Terrified
on.
of it.
You
We'll
know-
get to your whatever point you want to make.
No. I want to bring this back around to what we said about the kids. If you're going to say that internet addiction can be classified as a
I did not agree with that. I just brought the
that's
topic up.
really-
No, I never said that.
back into
I just
same
brought a
thing.
topic up, and I
Because
never
it's
agreed
still
to that.
Neurochemical transmitters that you're being affected
No,
by.
I never
It's
said
the
I
same
agree with
kind of
that.
concept.
I never said I'd agree with that. She was in a fucking facility
Wait.
for 6 weeks and paid $60,000.
But
Now we come to find out. I'm sorry. We come to find out that she had a whole bunch of other problems going on at home where somebody died and she wasn't getting along with people in school and all this kind of shit. So because they labeled it, oh, it's the internet that's her problem. That wasn't her actual problem. The problem was her and her problems, not the internet. Yes, it was part of it, but the root of cause of her issues was not the thing that they're labeling a disease or an addiction or whatever.
Didn't I say that last time?
Fuck that. I'm not
Didn't you
feeling
just
that.
make my point that I made last time?
I don't. Whatever you are trying to do, fuck
no,
that.
no,
I don't agree with the fact that you're trying to say.
You just said it's that her internet addiction is not the disease. That there are other problems causing that addiction. So
Yeah.
they didn't actually solve the problem
Okay.
of the addiction. So you're saying that they went
Remember,
in.
don't cross addiction and disease. So go ahead.
They went in. I'm going to cross it because it's when you're addicted
ahead,
to
here's your
something,
point.
you have a disease, and it's something that you're.
No,
afflicted
you
by.
don't have a disease. Are you
Just
insane?
not raise your
If
voice
I'm addicted to
and be civil. Or do we
Listen,
have to
listen.
close?
If I'm addicted to eating fucking
Open
food,
and
I'm just
close?
greedy.
No, you're.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm just greedy.
No.
Yeah, no, I had to show some self fucking control and not do that. So and then die. How does anybody die if they're used to eating fucking food and they choose to keep
Because
doing it?
food addiction is one of the hardest addictions to ever.
Fuck that shit. You need to have some
actually have
fucking.
to eat.
Well, if you don't have self-control, If you don't have
That's your fucking
self-control-
problem. You have a disease. Kids that are and fucking born with fucking shit or have cancer at young ages, they have diseases.
But you can be born with an addiction to crack.
Are you saying that
Hold
then
on.
can teach that person to have self-control? To
You're
solve
talking about
that
you're talking about the
problem?
food thing,
Would
or-
that not then cure that disease?
It's not a disease. You can solve
Are
the
you
mental.
saying
Hold on.
that
You
a
can
disease
you
has to
can
be
solve the
cured
mental
by
aspects of what you're trying to say,
medical
but in
means?
terms of the disease, there is no disease there when it comes to overeating. That's not a disease.
That's a mental problem.
Okay, I'm glad you
And
said
are
that.
you
'Cause
saying
that's not
that
no
then there
fucking
are not
disease.
mental diseases? Or are you
No.
saying that all
What mental diseases
are
are
going
there?
to have a medical treatment using drugs to be able to solve the problem?
No.
Because not
You're-
all diseases
you know
are
what?
like that.
We might come back to you and I, but let me do it here real quick, and then we'll go to Sam. Go ahead.
Can I have 60 seconds of uninterrupted talk?
Yeah, go ahead. 60 seconds.
Okay.
You got it.
First thing, John, you're being way too loud. Second thing, disease, a disorder of structure or function in a human, animal, or plant, especially one that produces specific signs or symptoms or that affects a specific location and is not simply a direct result of physical injury. I'm not done, Christian. Addiction, the fact or condition of being addicted to a particular substance, thing, or activity. Henceforth, disease can be passed through, also acquired, as well as addiction. But addiction is your choice getting into it. Disease is not your choice getting into it. With that being said, I'm done. Adios, guys.
No, bitch. You gonna see drop that shit on us and then run away? Fuck you. Go, Sam.
He actually hit my he started with my opening statements.
I mean, I'm
Believe
going
it or
to
not.
argue with him, but go ahead.
Let's boil this down to what you're getting at. I understand your point. I understand your point. I get this. What you're labeling addiction as a disease, the addiction is not the disease. It's not. The symptoms behind it are your disease. The addiction is a choice. It is a choice. Now, mind you, what's going on to make you make that choice, be it you're depressed, your situation, your mental state, that can be your disease.
I'll go with that.
But the actual addiction, I like opiates now. You're addicted to an opiate. It is not a disease. You have a chemical imbalance. Nothing more. You need to sit in a freaking room for a week, get yourself off it. You'll be all right.
And then you don't have it
Now,
anymore. So
the
it's
thing
not a
that needs to be
disease.
cured, the disease that needs to be cured, is your head. Your mental state needs to be cured. And you need to be surrounded by people that will enhance that mental state.
I'll agree with that.
Drug addiction is an addiction, and I have to agree with Mr. Winfrey on this, no drug addict should be able to walk into the hospital and get the treatment they get when you have people dying of cancer and you're being
Let me
charged
tell you
for
something. I
forgery.
have a friend that works in
Only because, sorry,
No, go ahead.
my grandmother, who I love to death, was basically my mom. Like, I watched her die because of cancer. An ass raping of money. An ass raping of bullshit. For her to die because of bad care at a hospital. And funny story, they OD'd her on morphine.
Oh, cool.
Now, she had cancer, you said, right?
She had
Which is a
cancer. She went through full remission. Got an infection when they put her into the hospital. For some reason, they thought it was a good idea to OD her on morphine.
So did she choose to have that cancer?
No,
Was
there's
she
no choice in it.
was she having a bad day and decided to stick some cancer in her arm?
Hold on.
My,
So that's
my-
exactly what I'm
my
talking
point,
about.
My point. Let me finish, John. Let me
Yeah,
finish.
go
Let me
ahead.
finish.
Go
All
ahead.
right. So the point I'm trying to make, and I agree with you in that. In other words, a cancer patient did not choose that. And honestly, hold on. Listen, if you're a smoker and you got lung cancer or throat cancer or mouth cancer and you're a dipper and you got that shit, yeah, fuck you. Own that shit. You walked into it. If you're a heavy drinker and you fucked up your liver, you own that shit.
Yep.
Fucking eat it. Now,
Eating,
if you're one of
same
those
thing.
people, and this happened to a good friend of mine. He's actually high speed, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, worked out every day, did everything. Ended up with cancer out of nowhere. He ended up with cancer. He just felt like shit, was trying to beat it, and finally he went to the hospital. Sure as shit, he had cancer.
I was gonna make that
That's
point when
so
it comes
So,
to cancer. You can be
it's-
healthy as you
That's
want
so
and still get the
shitty.
shit.
The thing with cancer is it can come from so many different sources, including the food you're eating.
You can't get heroin addiction from
The
eating
simple food you're eating. Actually, I'm gonna hit you with that. I'm gonna hit you with that.
I have one retort when you're done and ready to go, because
If you can see his face right now.
Molester, MSG. You will have a food addiction. Anyways,
Oh yes,
So-
it's so good. You can buy it by the jug.
Fructose corn syrup.
No, seriously.
so,
Addicting.
so my
What?
point being is there are certain things that are that you have an addiction. Like if you have a food addiction, which is a real thing.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
But
It's not disease.
the psychological aspect of that, well, either one, you have a thyroid problem, which I will grant.
That's
I will
fine.
grant people that.
That's
I will
fine.
grant
Stuff
people-
like that is
If
fine.
you got a thyroid
Not
issue,
a disease.
that's cool. But don't be the person that's like, I've got a thyroid issue, and you're just pegging McDonald's
Yo,
24/7.
seriously, you do not want a thyroid issue. That hurts.
And I'm gonna look at you and I gotta go. Really? I think you
Yeah.
have a hand-to-mouth disease.
And so would I. As a big
So-
fat guy, I would do the same fucking. Don't give me fucking whining about your fucking eating.
So
I'm
my
watching
point
you
is-
dump fucking.
Yes, you have a disease, but I believe your disease aspect of it is a mental. It's your mental state.
So
You
here's the
have a
thing:
mental-
I don't
So-
think people should use the word disease though, because based on the definition of disease,
I would call it mental behavior.
that's fine. Just don't call it disease because it makes me
It's-
think of the person with cancer who's minding their
I
own
don't-
fucking business, and
it's
they
not-
make
it doesn't-
as opposed to
To me, it doesn't fit the disease bill.
So-
It doesn't fit it
Right.
because
So
So
hold
I don't
on a
think people
second.
should use the word disease.
Let me
Go
bring,
ahead.
let me bring up something now. Now we agree that if something works, to do it, correct? And we can also agree that the healthcare system is fucked up. Yes.
oh fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so those 2 points we're going to agree on. Now, what
Yeah.
originally
Oh,
brought
yeah.
up this entire issue and this conversation last time was not is drug addiction a disease, but should it be treated like a disease?
Okay.
And that is actually something I'm still going to say yes, absolutely, because it has shown effective results in European countries that are treating drug addicts as if they have a disease to solve that problem.
Well, I
I semi don't have
Isn't
a
it
problem
called
with
rehab?
that semi. Let me tell you.
Now,
real
I
quick,
understand. I understand if you walk in and
Let me
you
give
have
you something real quick.
cancer or something that you need to go to a hospital and need to get
Let me
corrected.
give you something real
yes.
quick, right?
But
I-
if you actually have that, like let's say you're a drug addict and
Mm-hmm.
you need to go and get that thing taken care of to stop, and you have insurance to go in and pay for it. Fuck yeah, go.
Let
and
me
get
tell you
that
a story real
treated
quick.
like
A friend of mine
disease.
works at the DCJ, right? And he sees the repeating addicts come in there. You know why they come in there? They get treatment and they get it for free, and they repeat do the shit, go in because they're going to get treatment because of that way of thinking. They're draining on the system and it's like his mindset is to. No, you keep
Well,
going.
that's
My
why-
thing is,
that's
all
why
right.
I agree with the single
Here,
parent
all right, you know
mandate
what?
from
We'll do
HCA.
it your way. But what I will do is, they get one fucking try, and then they're done. There ain't gonna be none of this repeating. I'm dumping free money into this person when they just clearly are just going getting treatment when they feel bad, and then going right back and doing the drugs. No,
So
no,
can I
that's
push
a
button,
choice.
John? I'm gonna push a button, John, and say when you have people doing something like that, that's why your Republicans go and put into, and your healthcare puts into your ACA laws, saying that you have to pay a tax for not having health insurance now.
Say Republican. We're gonna end that
Point
subject.
there.
You guys done with that one? You
I'm
good?
done.
You good? Yes, we're done. All right. So what we got here?
Feelings on Trump.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end this portion of the show because we were supposed to do half an hour segment, so we did an hour.
Go into the
So
segment.
we'll
of feeling
keep
of Trump.
going, but we're gonna end this segment and we'll come back with a part 2 to this. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, share, and dislike.
What America rules.
Dislike?
Tell me to go fuck myself.
Nope.
I don't know. Whatever.
I mean, if you want to watch that, I'm sure
Thanks
there's
for
no channel.
listening.